She cancelled it the year before her diagnosis. And then she now referred another client to me. Unfortunately, this lady has already been diagnosed with cancer. She has a daughter that's 22 years old. So this is already terminal cancer. And so I asked her, okay, what do you have? So she had some life insurance before. She had critical illness cover. She had income protection. She had been paying for long. She cancelled it the year before her diagnosis.
A chip white cup, a worn out grin. You come as you are and you fit right in. No grand speech, just the truth we bring. Little moments make a big old ring.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to T's Lounge. I am Dr. Enos Sampson, your host, and with me today is Dr. Sheun
I'm back.
again. She's back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Dr. Sheun and I, on another episode, talked about insurance, life insurance, critical illness cover. In short, we're talking about financial planning. So thank you for joining us once more. Here at the lounge, we believe that, it's the lessons we learn out of life lessons are sometimes learned from ordinary conversations.
Absolutely.
And in case I didn't introduce myself well, my name is Dr. Enos Sampson, T's Lounge, presenting Mundane Talk. Dr. Sheun, welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Welcome back.
It's
So we were
pleasure.
talking earlier on about, life insurance, financial planning for our Black community.
Yep.
And we talked about how people get scared. They don't want to.
They don't want to talk about it.
Let's take a deep dive.
They don't, you know what?
Let's take a deep dive.
Honestly, I say to people when we're talking of financial planning, it's not a jinx. Nobody wants to kill you. See, this is one thing I see at times with families, especially married couples. Women will say, my husband already did this insurance, which is fantastic. But I think at times we're a bit selfish, right? That if our husband has covered themselves, that means if anything happens to him, we're good. But what if it's us that happened to? What happened to the man? And there are real life stories of we assume one partner will go first, but it's the other way around. And then what happens to the children? What happens to the person that I said we love? What life continues after we're gone, right? So when we're talking about financial planning, talking about life insurance, it's actually not a jinx. It's not as if somebody wants to kill you tomorrow. It's just financial plan. Because when we're planning financially, we plan with the worst case scenario, right? Praying for the best case scenario, right? Knowing that if the worst happens, finance will not be the issue that we're running after. We can face the issue and deal with it. Because trust me, money makes things better. Oh my days. True life story. When we're talking about, okay, so somebody, a couple. I always say to people, see, when we're talking financial planning, I have a lot of stories because I've done lots of consultations.
Done it for a long time, yes.
And so these are real people with real stories. And I'm really praying that people don't get on the other side of they've not made a decision to do the right thing, right? When you have something good in place, it is good because on answer, like, thank God this. Okay, so there's a client of mine, right? I got to meet this client through, mom's football mom. This is
Moms
years back. And so when I became a financial advisor, I reached out to all the people in my network saying, I'm educating people or make sure that they have the right financial plan for their family. And when we're talking financial planning, insurance is just it's a risk transference strategy. So it means that your plan A is go to work, do your business, earn your income, sort out your bills. What if that money does not come in? And what could stop it from coming in? It could be death, it could be illness.
Be anything.
Right? People don't die now in the UK. We know within the Black community, if you go to, I'm a Nigerian, right? We know people can just live now, have an accident and they're gone. But it doesn't really happen like that in the UK. So I understand where people are coming from. Like, people things don't just happen.
But it does happen like that
But
in
it
the UK.
does happen.
People do slump. I mean,
yeah.
Permit me to say this. In 2000 and if I remember, I think 2010. So, 2010. I lost a family member. She went to work. Did a long shift, and didn't come home.
Oh, no.
That was the most devastating period of my life. I was devastated because I was
Because
very
we are
close
seeing
to this
people
person.
are going to be there
right?
forever.
Nothing would have prepared me for that. Nothing would have prepared me for that. And
And then the financial
and the financial
implication.
implication of that happening, we don't
By the
even think
way, it
about
is
it.
not free to die in the UK, just in case you don't know.
Yes, we heard
It's
that as well.
minimum £10,000 bill.
To
Now, I'm
die.
asking you the question: how many of us have £10,000 saved anywhere to go bury somebody? So when people say, I don't want to do life insurance, I'm not saying you must do it, right? You can take this and not take action. But I'm saying that why does it always have to be a community that leave debt for our family
for our
and not
families.
wealth? Now, if you go to look at the statistics, it says that out of every Black household, 45% leave debt rather than wealth. And look at that, that's, let's say 50%. So you know two people, one of them will leave debt, one of them will leave wealth.
It's
So
it's
is
the
that
rich,
good
is the
statistics?
rich that poor that dynamic, isn't it? One is living well for the inheritance for their kids, and the other one is living
And some
dead.
people say, my father did not leave me anything. Why should I leave
I've
something?
heard that one.
It's terrible for us to think like
irritating
that.
to even hear it.
But people actually think like that. They say, because my father did not leave. So do we always have to ask our children to keep digging the well?
Digging the
Why
well.
can't we just dig the well and let them no. I'm not saying they won't have their own challenges, but they don't have to start with the same challenge that we have started.
It's a limitation mentality, isn't it? I suffered, so everybody else should. I said to somebody once, I said, if you went through something and the experience was not nice, why would you
Why
want
would
your
you want
child
somebody to
go through
repeat
it?
that?
Why don't you make a why are we what we're enjoying today in the UK is as a
Some
result of our
people,
forefathers, the
yeah.
founding fathers of the UK. What Americans are enjoying today in the United
Some
States,
people pay the price.
somebody paid the price. Why is it that it's only in the Black community that from generation to generation, nobody's ready to pay the price for anything?
And that's what we're educating people now, that when you do financial plan, right, is the right thing to do, because you don't want to build. And by the way, even if you build wealth in the UK, it's not even free to transfer it to your family. So your family may not even be able to afford the wealth that you're building if you don't structure properly. And that's why financial planning is important, right? So let's take a typical example. People don't want to talk about inheritance tax, right? And it is real, guys. It is real.
Inheritance tax. Say it clearly to them all. Inheritance tax. Some
tax.
people have not even heard. I
They
mean, we
don't
have
understand what.
for those who have financial background, they know what it means, what inheritance tax means. But for a lot of people who don't have a financial background, when they
We
hear
will unpack it.
inheritance tax, they're
What does
like,
that mean?
please,
Let's
let's
unpack
unpack it.
Let's unpack it. Now, I'm going to paint a picture for you, right? So you're working, all right? You are an employee. You're earning good salary. So you good take home. Let's say, for example, £60,000 per annum. I think it's relatively okay enough, right? Before you see your salary, the government has taken 40%, right? They try. So you are not really earning 60,000, are you? Right? You're not. So they've taken 40%. So whatever wealth you're going to build is net. So you're going to use 60% to build your wealth. Are we still correct? Now you've been able to buy your house, you pay your mortgage, The house is now doing well. It has appreciated during your life. You finish paying your mortgage. Bam, life happens and you have to go. And why do we build wealth? This is for us.
For our
Am I
families.
building to give it to King Charles?
No.
I'm building wealth for my family. Now, when we pass on, there is a cost. HMRC was going to come and say, this 60% that you used to build your wealth,
You still have to pay on it.
we are going to take 40% again.
Again, that's 80%.
Over a threshold. Now, there's a threshold. There's what we call a nil rate band. It's £325,000. You don't get tax on that. So now
Anything
start looking
above
at your
that.
house. Anything above £325,000. So let's say, for example, you build your wealth and your net worth is 1 million. Okay. Typical example. 325,000. So your 1 million, your house is, if you have a house in London, that's 600,000 already, right? Right? Any other thing, stocks, shares, is 1 million. That's 600,000. New rate band, they remove it 325,000, right? Remains 675,000.
Not tax.
Folks, 40%. Now the question is, if you don't have £270,000 saved anywhere for your family to pay that, how many family have £70,000 to inherit 1 million?
In our community.
And that's where life insurance comes in, structured properly. You already made provisions for you to be able to transfer this wealth. It is not free to build wealth, and we have to be strategic in our Black community. If not, there are so many properties right there that the HMRC, and funny enough, within 6 months that this person has died, HMRC is going to write to you. And if you don't pay on time, it starts gaining interest. So you see people just run away, they'll just not touch it because they can't afford it. So you build, it's government, and government enjoys it. So you worked all your life. And then when your children are supposed to sit down and enjoy the fruit of your labor, they can't afford it. And somebody's telling me, I don't need life insurance. Everybody needs life insurance, structured properly. So
thank you so much, Dr. Shemus. Thank you. I mean, this, we had this conversation and I said, look, we need to do a deep dive because I'm coming from a background where these things were not taught to us. I don't come from a financial background. I mean, some people's family, all of them are from financial background. Daddy is a banker, mommy works in, maybe mommy is an accountant, I come from a legal background. The people in my family, I had an uncle who was a chief judge of a state. Most of the people in my family, they studied law. Some of them studied basically very academic, but not really financial, as in people study finance like that. Now, that doesn't mean anything if you really want to look at it. Anybody can learn anything. But what I'm trying to say is, when we get to this stage where we're not looking at our community, why is it? I ask myself that question all the time. What is it about our community that makes it difficult for us to actually learn these things and run with it and then pass it to the next generation? Please shed some light on that.
I think we should also understand that there's a lot of trauma in our community. Maybe, like you said, a lot of us didn't grow up with money. In fact, my grandfather on both sides were actually multi-millionaires. But I had to start all over again because I believe that in their days, they have many wives.
Yes.
The and when it comes to around. It's not just about not going around because it was more than enough to go around, but the politics around it makes it not transferable. Because I'm sure there are so many properties that my grandfather on my mom's side they are just there. Nobody is even, other people are enjoying it because
when there's contention, other people they're feeding fat on the contention. While the bona fide owners, of the world don't even get to touch it. They're struggling.
Right. So we need to educate. So this is where I come in, right? Start educating yourself on finances because all of us must talk finance now. All of us pay bills, right? All of us earn income one way or the other, whether you are working for it or you get it for free, or maybe your husband is, you don't have to work, it's fine, but you're still earning some income, right? Income is still coming. We need to understand finance on how it goes round. What am I supposed to do? How do I structure at my age? One of the things I wrote, this is the book on insurance. Yes, this is a life manual that you must get it. In chapter 3, let me put it.
I mean, our viewers need to know about this book. The book on insurance talks about an insider's guide to protecting yourself, your family and business against financial misfortune. And this is so. I mean, just looking at the cover alone, I'm already intrigued. I'm like, I can't wait to read this book because there's so much that has happened. I mean, in my own life, I use myself as an example. I've been through so much ups and downs in my life. I've had so much downturns, right? Even despite my best efforts, let me put that in that. Despite my best efforts, I've had downtimes that made people look at me and say,
oh, are you?
Are you? Oh, with all your education. Oh, with all your this. But people don't understand that it can happen to the best of us.
Yeah.
It can happen to the best of us.
Multi-millionaires, they lose the money, but the fundamental thing is they do not lose the land because they can build it back.
That's it.
And that's why you are here, I'm here, right?
Trying to tell our people, what I really want you to do, there are a lot of women out there that are in the position where, I know there are a lot of men, but today I want you to, I know we're talking to everybody, but I want you to talk to women. I want you to just look at our viewers and talk to women, especially those ones in the UK who they've been through one thing or another, and financially they're not up there because they've hit some roadblocks.
Yeah.
I hit roadblocks in my life. I did. I'm
Yeah.
very educated. I mean, by the grace of God, I have more than 3 degrees.
And a lot of us have degrees in our
Yes,
community.
it cost me money
Yeah.
to study because
It's not cheap.
because you're thinking, when I finish this one, I will get that job. And I'll be able to put my family in a better position, correct?
But
And then you
suddenly,
get there, policies change.
you said the policies change.
Policies change. Now, people who don't understand that policies change, are they going to believe you when you start saying, but it's not my fault? Nobody cares whether it's your fault or not. Policies have changed. You snooze, you lose, or you lost.
And that's
And
why
now we're
politics
here.
is also important. We need to get involved in
please
politics. We'll talk
to
about that
these
later.
people about how we need to change the trajectory here.
Honestly, especially as women, because at times maybe the men are the main income earners, so people chill out and say, "Oh, don't worry, you just live your career, look after the children. After the children, they can now start your career." I had to slow down my career too because of my children, so I get you. But what's important is we have a lot of skills that we can monetize. And we have to start looking at that too. So it's not just about employment in the employment space. Thank God for the advent of AI, advent of e-commerce and all of that, those things. There are things that you can do working from home. You mentioned when I was promoting health and wellness.
Yes.
That was me trying to work around my children. I went to
Yes.
train. Yes, I'm a qualified fitness coach also, right? If you know how many degrees, guys, degrees, qualifications.
We
Because
piled them up because we believe that, when you get that degree, if the other one didn't work, this one has to work.
do you understand? Even before I came to the UK, I went to learn professional hairdressing. So people have seen me, like I've spent about 16 years in the UK plus, and see the way I started. The people that I did hair for when I first came into the country started to tell me, becoming a coach, publishing my first book, becoming a doctor. Like, how did they do that?
All of it to put you in the better stead, isn't it? All of it.
Every room that I get to, I am qualified, more than qualified to be in the room. So I can hold my head
I
up
love
high
that.
because
I love that.
I have paid my dues, right? So it's not the color of your skin. It's not your gender. You've got to own your onions. Wherever
That's
you are,
correct.
own it. So that's where, as women, we have to skill and reskill.
Yes.
Right? There's every opportunity, even if we are building around our children,
Yes.
there are things that we can do to help us economically be in a better place. Because some people have gone through divorce. And that's devastating financially. Honestly, I've seen personal clients that they bought house together, right? They had all the insurance. And that's okay. Let me say that again. If you have a joint policy, right? Some will say, I do everything with my husband. I do everything with my wife. All I want is I'm not advocating against joint policies. The only time that you need joint policies is if you have a joint debt with your partner.
Yes.
Every other one separate, okay? And why that? Because you only have one debt. If you have a mortgage, let's say £500,000 mortgage, and it's both you and your husband or your partner that have it together, right? If either of the partner dies or have a critical illness, they only need to pay one mortgage. And that's the end of that, right? Every other thing remains separate. So you have a mortgage cover, you have a life insurance cover your mortgage, you need other insurances that are separate. Because if life happens and there is a divorce, then you now start writing insurance. Oh, separate this thing. Your health may have deteriorated. By then, you may not even be able to have access to any insurance again as a that. Or it may be age. You may not even be able to have access to insurance like that. And then contention starts coming because this man has gone to have another woman and they are not contending with you. See, there's a lot of things that we can talk about that go in, especially in our community. So when we're talking of financial planning, we have to be savvy. In as much as we have joint debts, we can have some joint life covers, but every other thing is separate so that, and maybe you've gone through that and you're looking at how do I pick myself back up? You need a community of people around you. Right? So you have different communities, people that can, talk to professional communities, people that can say, okay, this is where your skill is, this is where you can reskill, right? I've had people that have gone through divorce that now they're maybe business analysts. Some of them are now financial advisors. That's one of the other things that we're doing at Emergenzz Financial
Yes.
Services. My company is Emergenzz Financial Services. By God's grace, I'm the CEO and I work in partnership with my husband, who is the COO, Stephen Okay.
Beautiful.
And what we're doing is we are building something. So ours goes beyond business. It's also a social movement of how we can help people become financially savvy,
Yes.
become financial advisors, and you can also earn part-time or full-time income helping other people understand this, because we need more people to educate.
Yes.
Right? You could go on and say, oh, I'm learning from this person or the other, but it goes beyond when you have somebody that can dedicate time to take you through what your structure needs to look like.
So
This is what we're
basically,
doing
we need to unlearn,
to learn.
learn and relearn, or is it unlearn, relearn, and learn?
Yes.
Whichever way you do it.
Unlearn,
Unlearn,
relearn,
and learn.
and learn.
Because you need to get to that point where, oh, I know. You know, one of the biggest killers in our community, I know. You know when you say, I know. What do you know? I know. But the truth is,
You know, you're not taking action on what you know.
If you remember, a great man said, wisdom is, I say, wisdom is knowing what to do and doing it. Knowing where to go and going there. Knowing what not to do and not doing it. Right? So I know is not an answer.
No, it's not.
Right? This thing that we're discussing now, what can you tell our viewers about taking action? So we came to this, we brought you back to come and tell some, because you remember when we were talking behind the set and I said to you, there was a particular guy in the US, I was privy to hearing his story, and he was being told to get a policy to cover himself and all of that. He says, oh no, let me think about it, and now I'm not ready and all of that. And they kept telling him, listen, and this guy is over 40.
Whoa.
So as they were talking to me, he just kept dilly-dallying and didn't want to do it, and just, and then he had a stroke the following week.
Oh my God.
He had a stroke the following week.
Oh my God.
For me, when I heard that, it gave me chills.
Wow.
Yeah. What would it have cost you? Because, and I said it, let me use my profession, for example. I'm a lawyer. And you get people coming to the office and say they're talking about contracts. Breach of contract. Let me start from there. Talk about breach of contract. And you're finding out what happened. Well, they did business with this person and something went pear-shaped, and now they're going to court for this same issue, which they could easily have walked into a law firm and had that contract checked out, or just even had the contract perused to make sure that,
you have all the I's
are
dotted, the I's and cross the T's.
And what would it have cost them? At most, maybe £500 to get that done. But you see, our people are so stingy. They don't like spending money. They'll tell you, no, I can't go and pay a lawyer £500. So for what? What is that? I'll just read it myself. And then trouble comes. Guess what? They're now in court. They're going to pay over £5,000 to another lawyer to go defend that case. And if care is not taken...
And more. And they will lose money.
And they will lose money. And they may even lose the case. Because whoever dodged you out on that contract knew what they were doing. Right? So this is the same issue here with insurance. You don't want to pay a premium of £100 and then you're going to get into trouble.
And £100,000 cannot sort out the £100. Honestly, when you were sharing that with me, it just made me remember another true story. Right? So this person went through consultation. You should book a free consultation. So went through a consultation, also, from Nigerian descent. Said, oh, you know what? This sounds real good. It sounds really, really good. You know what? I want to travel. I'm going to Nigeria. When I come back, we'll do it. I said, you know what? Let's put this thing through. One, is it going to go through medical underwriting? And I'll let you understand that medical underwriting means we've answered medical questions, but insurance company says, you know what, we're considering this risk. However, we need to check your medical records. So it's going to take more time. However, there's what you call indemnity. All right. So when we submit an application, right? So for this particular person, it was £500,000 life insurance, but it's still going to go through underwriting because of the age and the health. So when we submit, indemnity covers you immediately. Because why? Insurance has not made a decision yet, but you have made your intention know that you will want this, right? But it is due to their own process that they will take more time to go and check. While they are checking before they make a decision, it's as good as you already have that insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That £500,000 is available to your family. God forbid, if anything happens to you within that period without having paid £1 in premium. When they now come back with a decision, right, that indemnity cancels, then you have to make a decision. Do I want to go ahead? I don't want to go ahead. If anything happens to you and you've not made a decision, unfortunately, indemnity has no. But during the period that they're making the
decision,
decision,
you're covered.
you are covered for that 500,000. I say, you know what?
So
Let
basically,
us submit
let's
this
understand
application.
this. So basically, when you put in your application,
Yeah.
even though the policy hasn't kicked in, indemnity covers you.
Indemnity covers you
Oh,
immediately.
please, this is interesting. It can't get better than this.
It can't get any better. So you are, without paying £1 in premium, you have a cover for that period, what they are doing. And at times, underwriting may take even 16 weeks. In fact, I had one client, I submitted the application since December last year. They just gave us offer in June. So 6 months. But God forbid, if he had died within that period, insurance would not have, they would have had to pay that amount to the family, right? So I said to this person, please let us submit this application so that they can start their process. By the time you come back, they may have made a decision. Then you can now accept it, and then we can start paying premium. Say, you know what? Let me come first. At times, you don't want to over-push clients. That's if, because she wants to get paid. Yes, I should get paid because I do good work. All my advisors we will do good work for you. Take you through the right thing. And insurance pays us a commission when you make a decision. He said, let me come back. So that's all I can do. I've told you, let's pay. But he said no. So I waited. Doc, he didn't come back.
Oh, wow.
It was an accident.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
Wow.
And that thing pained me, because I was like, God, this would have been... And I was looking at the family like this.
And the family will have to deal with that.
£500,000 will have been paid to this man's family. He would have paid £1 in premium. See, like I said, it's not a jinx. However, when you get through this place, make a decision, right? And then go live your life. We pray you never need it. And that's why we make sure the life insurance is actually longer term, as much as possible, as much as you can afford it, right? Let's make it longer term so that you can have the peace of mind to go and do what you need to do. You know, barest minimum, there's a base, there's a foundation for your family so that they won't have to suffer. And some people will say, don't worry, adoption, my husband has done his own. I say, okay, good though, your husband has done his own. But what about you? Say, but it's, no, let's stop being selfish as women, right? Let's stop being selfish. That because your husband has covered you, you now think you shouldn't cover yourself. What about him? Now, another story, true story. I'm allowed to share this story. I'm not mentioning names. I didn't know them when they were going through. I wished I had. It was after everything has gone, the way it went, before I was helping this man through the claims process. So the wife had a policy, right? However, at claim time is when they discovered that there were some things that they were supposed to have mentioned during the application that were not mentioned. And that's the ground for non-payment of claim.
Yes. Anything you don't
so
tell
guys, when you're going through the process, please tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Even if you get refused, even if you're watching this and you've been refused insurance before, speak to us. We will find something for you. There's something for you. But don't lie on your application, because there's no point paying premiums.
And then you're not going to be able to claim.
Time, they will check. They will do fine to come through your medical record. So that's why when we're doing your consultation at Emergenzz Financial Services, we take you through. You've been through our process. Step by step, come by come. And if they need to do more checks, they'll go to check it. They'll come back to us with the decision. At times when it comes back, they may see a risk or the other, and say, because of this, we may increase your premium slightly. It's fine. If you can't afford it at that increased premium, we'll reduce the cover amount, but you still get a cover. But when your policy has gone into underwriting, for me, I like it, because it means it is now foolproof. There's nothing that at claim time that insurance now say, we saw they can't say anything, because they've checked everything before they gave the offer. So your policy is bulletproof. Right? So don't feel, okay, it's going to underwriting. It's a good thing, right? They just want to be sure that before they take on the risk, they dot their I's and cross their T's. So what I'm saying to women is, don't be selfish, right? do your own insurance because your life insurance covers the back of your children and
That's
that of your
correct.
spouse.
Yes.
His insurance covers your back and that of your children.
Children.
So your children are covered on both
But on both
sides.
sides.
And that's why I also don't recommend joint covers, aside from mortgage, right? Joint covers, you will still pay roughly about, maybe it's just the £1 difference
Less,
in premium if
yeah.
you do a joint cover. Now, if you now do a joint cover that's not for mortgage, it means that your children only have one payout.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, they do only have one payout. But if both of you have on either side,
The
they
children
have
get paid on
double
both
payout on both
That's
sides. So
very,
it's
very-
a better way to structure than, oh, me and my husband, we always do everything together. We pray your family will be together. We pray that your relationship will work well together. We never, by God's grace, I'm married 23 years and still counting, praise
Oh,
God.
thank God.
Right? And so I'm happy. Yeah, I always advocate
Yes.
for marriages. But when we
Yes.
do financial plan, we have to
You
do it
have
the
to
right
go
way.
beyond that. Yes.
Right.
You have to.
So it's not, if I'm telling you, do your separate cover, it's not because I'm saying you and your husband will separate. It's just that it is more cover for your children because they get to get paid twice rather
Yes.
than once. And what I've also seen is people that say, oh, all I just want is joint cover because we do everything together, is if the other partner now dies, it depends on the age, then you don't have a cover again because that's it. You may not be able
That's
to, that's it, it's gone.
And sometimes what I find, Doc, is that it's not the fact that they just want to do, oh, it's me and my husband that do it together. It's the fact that they just don't want to do it. let's call a spade, please.
That's another
They
thing.
don't want to do it.
That's
They don't want to tell you no. So they'll tell you,
Yeah.
oh, we do
Oh,
it together. So, but the reality is what they need to know. Because these conversations are not being had. If they're being had on other platforms, I've not heard it. So I want to use my platform to share it in a very deep level or on a very deep level. The reality on ground is that you can make all the excuses you want.
If you don't want to do something, there'll be always excuses.
I had someone give me a tell me a story about him talking about this insurance services to a friend of his. And when he started this process, the friend went about telling people that he was a fraudster trying to take money out of them.
Wow.
True story. True story. And he was saying to the friend, like, look, your mom is old, though. At least do a policy for your mom, even a baby policy for your children. And the friend was being funny. No, I don't want anybody to take my money and whatever. No. Anyway, cut the long story short, the mom passed away in the US. And Dr. you and I know that to fly body from because
that is $20,000.
Yeah. To fly the body from the US to Africa. And this guy went on a GoFundMe and came back to this guy who's now making money, by the way. And the guy said, no, I'm not going to give you any of my money. Because
Why
it's
should
fraud
I?
money. I'm not going to give it to you.
Why should I?
You go raise the money because I told you before this happened. And all of us were looking at me like, are you going to say you didn't help? He said, yes, I helped. I bought the drinks for the funeral.
But do you know what?
He said, I'm not going to give him my money because he needs to learn
that
lesson.
Plan. Honestly, on the flip side of it, I had a client, right? So I've known her for a while, our children play football together. And then, so when I did a policy, a few years later, we were just talking and I got to know that mom was in the UK. I said, how old is mom? She's 76. Have you started putting money aside? Because you're actually the first, she's the Ada, she's the first daughter. She's Igbo. I said, I don't have any money saved anywhere. I said,
you put it here.
Yeah. We can do insurance for mommy.
Yeah.
Let's put something. We'll do over because she had, she already 76. She had a few medical, and that's why I say, even if you have your medical history is huge and you're over 50, there's what we call over 50s plan, and so there are different things that we can do. So they don't ask medical questions on that one. So everybody, as long as you're 50 and above, you qualify for that. It's not a lot of money, but it's enough to cover the burial, right? So I said, you know what? Let's do this for mom. I will put it in place. 18 months later, mom passed on. She was just before her 78th birthday that she passed on. It was that money that she collected. She buried her mom. She now called me. Peacefully. She won't thank you. She won't thank you. She won't thank you. And then she now referred another client to me. Unfortunately, this lady has already been diagnosed with cancer, right? But what I did for her was to make sure that we have proper estate planning. All right. Because that's important, right? She has a daughter that's 22 years old. So this is already terminal cancer. And so I asked her, okay, what do you have? So she had some life insurance before, but I told her, thank God. Another thing, she had critical illness cover. She had income protection. She had been paying for long.
Wow.
She cancelled it the year before her diagnosis. So, guys, if you are
My
in the process of always
goodness.
cancelling your insurance, once no money comes in, the first thing is your insurance premium. Stop it. Stop it.
Please,
Stop
please,
it.
emphasize on that message.
No,
Because
honestly,
I'm one of those. I put my hands up. I'm one of those. Confession time now. Confession time. I'm one of those people. But I had a good reason for canceling mine. I was out of town.
Yeah,
I was
you
paying
were out
on
of country.
term life or something like that. Term life insurance is what? 70 years?
Yeah, the one that they did for you was 70, but
As
all
far as
that
I'm
time
concerned,
life insurance
I am
limit
going
to
to live more
90.
than 70 years. I don't care what anybody says about that. I will live
So let's
over
make it longer.
70 years. So which means if I get to 70 years, I have to die.
You have to,
get that
or
money.
you start looking for another
If I
insurance
don't
at that
die,
level.
I don't get the money, which means premium is gone. You know, insurance companies, they love
Yeah.
the premiums. They don't like paying, but they like collecting. I say, you know what, I'm canceling this thing. But truly speaking, on a more serious note,
Yeah.
please don't cancel your insurance policies.
Don't.
Get a good one.
Right.
Get a good one.
There are reasons to review at times.
Yes.
Right? Review just means that if we look at it and we can make it better for you. Just like you living in a house. Maybe you live in that house, you're paying rent for the last 10 years, but you now want to move. You saw a better house, right? A better neighborhood for your children, maybe because of schools, and you need to change, When you move addresses, will you say, landlord, though, 10 years that I've been paying you,
Give me the money
give
back.
me the money.
Not possible.
So you use the service,
Yes.
right? So the way premiums work is it's not your premium that the insurance pays back to you as claim. That premium is like a rent that you're paying over. That if anything were to happen to you, this premium, as long as you're paying this premium, our contract is we pay this to your family or to you if this risk crystallizes. Do you get what I mean? So I like his 500,000. Let's say 500,000, you're paying £100 every month for 500,000. How many years would you have to live to put £100 every month together to take 500,000?
You can't even save that kind of money.
You can't save it.
You can't if you were working.
You can't. So that £100 ensures that 500,000 is secured for your family. So literally,
It's sitting in the nest waiting.
Literally, it means that every month that you pay that £100, you have £500,000 savings for your family. That's what that means.
You set up your family for life.
For
That's
life.
wealth transfer.
That's wealth transfer. And we
When
put
we
it
talk
in
about-
trust.
we
We
talk
don't even
about-
charge you to put it in trust. It's free.
We talk about wealth transfer. When you talk about wealth, we Christians, and we like to put that thing to say the
Inheritance
the
for
wealth-
grandchildren.
The wealth of the just is the wealth of the just is laid up for the Abi. Is that what I say? The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just.
But we never get it because
How? We never ask the how.
Now, thank you. The how. See, it's always exchange of
We never
value.
ask the how.
Yeah, you've got to have value to
Let me take you
exchange.
somewhere. Let me go to our faith segment.
Okay.
Let me go to our faith segment. We're women of faith, so we can talk about faith very freely.
Yeah.
People quote things, but they don't know the origin of what they're quoting.
And they don't know the story behind it.
I'm going to ask you shortly how your faith,
has shaped me.
has shaped you in terms of where you are now. But before I ask that question, you know how we quote, the lawful captive shall be delivered. The lawful captive. We read that scripture all the time, and we talk about, okay, even the lawful captive will be delivered. But nobody takes time. Where did that thing come from? Where did it come from? Now we're talking about life insurance. We're talking about securing your future, transferring wealth. You're a lawful captive of what? Debt. You're a lawful captive of financial misplanning.
Because you signed it. It's a contract.
But where did that come from? One day, as I was, searching, because search the scriptures. I was searching the scriptures. And I can't think of it from the top of my head, but I think it's in the First Chronicles. I think one of the chapters of First Chronicles. And I saw what happened. I saw where that scripture came from. It was the children of Israel, you know how they are, how they will misbehave, and God will come with
And
a
God
whip
will punish them.
and punish them.
And punish the people that punish them.
Yes. So they were misbehaving and God punished them, as usual, sent, and they fell into the hands of the enemies, right? But the enemies dealt with them so
So
severely
severely that God now
that God now sent a prophet to go and tell, that thing you did, you overdid it, or you overbeat them. So you're going to get into trouble. So when they told them, they say, but it's what they did. And this and when they gave them that message, some of them got it and said, we don't want trouble. We know how God punishes. So if he comes after us, we are in trouble. Right? And they said, wow. Because at that time, they've taken the children of Israel captive. They've taken them captive. They've taken their wives and all of that. And so when that prophet came and told them that, you overpunished, you overregulated, you overdid this to them. So their God will come, and if the punishment come, our hands are clean. We're not part of it. That was when they now went back and said, you know what? We're going to compensate them. So they let the lawful captives go. They clothed them.
Like repatriation.
Repatriation,
Yes.
yes. And they gave them clothes and maybe some wealth.
Go.
So we are at that moment now where we are now asking the lawful captive to do something. Don't just sit there and say the lawful captive shall be delivered. How? We're talking strategies now.
Strategies.
It's good to quote the scriptures.
Yeah.
It's good to look at that. We're Christians, yes, but we're not
strategies.
There are strategies that we must follow, whether we like it or not. We can quote and fast and pray and do nothing, and nothing changes. That is just the reality.
God is a God of principles, and there are principles to wealth. I always say it. Part of the things I covered in chapter 3 of this is how you can structure depending on your age.
Let me show it again to the viewers.
Yeah. So chapter 3 talks about designing 28,000 days. So I ask people this question. So if I say 28,000, what comes up to you? What does that strike for you? People talk, pound sterling, 28,000, so different things.
Yes.
But literally, right, 28,000 days is the average age that people tend to live. 28,000. Like, so these days are definitely, and 28,000 is actually approximately 80 years.
Wow.
Right. Okay. So one of the things I did in the book is structure that 80 years. Between 0 to 20, you are growing up, you are going to school, there's no active income. I know some people, some of our children are now influencers, they can earn some money on the side, but they're still in school. 0 to 20, you are still supporting them, they are still in university, right? But between 20 and 40, which is the second quadrant, then lots of financial activities are started happening. I got my first job at 24, 25, but I started my business since I was 17. So I started making money since I was 17.
Wow.
Yes.
Please,
I've always made my own money.
Please, Dr. Shea, we'll speak to, because I know we have children. I have 4 beautiful children.
Yeah.
And some of our children are not financially savvy. They're not thinking. All they're thinking is, I want to go on holidays. I want to spend money. I want to buy a nice car.
It's good to go on holidays.
It's good to go on holidays, and it's good to buy a nice car. But please talk, especially the Black children, the children in the Black community. They are spendthrifts. Unfortunately, they are spendthrifts. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with the way they want to. Because this country can be depressing sometimes. I have to tell you, the weather and everything.
Yeah,
I get that.
But
please speak to our children and tell them, what age are you recommending that these children begin to put this financial planning in place?
Oh, it starts now. Like once my children turn 16 years, 9 months, all of them have life insurance. It's only in the code that we're just going to do ours because she's just getting to that now, right? 16 years, 9 months, they can have their life insurance. And the thing is, the money that I'm paying for those insurance is the money that they will take to McDonald's and will bring just one meal out. And it's secured like $500,000 for them. Now, when I started out with my first son will be 23. When I started out, I was one paying the premium. By the time they started making money, because they will also work for my company.
Pay your premium yourself, Oga.
I started that back to their account. Back, everybody pays for their own now, except Nicole, that I'm just going to set up. So they already understand, right, that this is the barest minimum of financial plan. Okay? So when you're doing your foundation, life insurance is the foundation. Just get it on because it is cheap. They are healthy. They are fit. They are young. So the premium is next to nothing. I think maybe it was £15 or something that I was paying then for like $500,000 they pay even more.
Yes.
But obviously, by the time they start making the money that they should, they will get more. But that's the barest money is there. I don't pray they die young. They will bury me by God's grace at the right time. But it's there for their family, right?
Yes.
Held in trust, right? It's there. So we should start early. We start talking. We should have family conversation about money.
Yes.
Let it not be all the learning is from social media. Let's talk about money. Money is important.
You just
the
hit-
people
you
need
hit
to
a nerve.
read this
Doc,
book.
you
No,
just,
honestly.
you just hit a nerve.
Yeah.
Let's have a family conversation.
Yes.
Do you know what I found out when I traveled? Because I'm a traveler. I travel a lot.
And this is good.
And what I found out is that, do you know that it's only in the Black community that we don't have a gathering where we talk? Asians have a community where they talk about these things that we're discussing now. Mexicans have a community where they talk about this they're talking now. Caucasians have a community, they talk. It's only our community where we only go to parties. Your one base, we buy our shwebis. And there's nothing wrong with all of that.
All of it, because
There
we have
is
to party. It's
nothing.
nice.
Life is for the living.
Life is for the living.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But where is that space where we can sit down and say, there is a gap? How do we fill
How
that
do we
gap?
feel it? Honestly, we need to have that. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I wrote the book. The book is it's all encompassing because you know what to do. And all you just now need to do is go get it done. I was talking about that you can actually plan according to your age. So it depends on what your age is now to know what to put in place. We've already structured it. So you can sit down with your children. Where are we at? What are we looking at? What are we building? What is the structure? What should we have in place? What sort of financial plan? What sort of insurance is relatable to my age? For all my clients that are over 40, I always tell them, if you live in the UK, you need private medical insurance.
NHS
If you're over
is not going to
40,
cut it for you.
If you're over 40, see, people say, I'll save it. Guys, I have seen situations. I've seen people develop critical illness. Before they even get to diagnosis, it's a long thing.
Yes,
if you have private medical insurance, sharp. And for how much? Less than £100 for a lot of people. If you're saving that, I'm not saying you should save, we must save. But the reason we make money is so that we can use money to buy life's conveniences. Let us not let money serve us. Don't be a servant to money.
The quality
of life. So, like, I've had my private medical insurance for a while. Have I had to use it? No. I pray I never use it. But I know that if there's a need, I'm not going to panic because I know I've got that covered. And they even give me 50% off my gym membership.
Let's bring this home quickly because of time. I know we need to go. But I said to somebody who was saying education was a scam. And I told the person, I said, if you believe it,
then
it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
But let me tell you something. It is better for you to have it and don't need it
than for you to need it and not have it.
That's food for thought.
It's big food for thought.
And with that, I'm going to ask you one more question and then we'll move on. How would you define success? With everything we've discussed about, how would you tell somebody, I know we need insurance, we need everything, we've talked about insurance, but I want to talk about success. You look very successful. You look very successful.
We bless God.
I want to be like you
God
when I grow up.
faithful.
Please tell our audience, how do you define success? I mean, we know we're going to bring them into this fold. We're going to teach them. You're going to come back again because because people might see this now, others might not see it. We need to continue telling them until we reach.
It sinks in and
like
we
I
get
said, this is a revival. There's
a
revival.
There's financial revival. And we got to do it.
Yes.
We got to do it.
So you're going to come back again and still talk about this. And we're going to keep talking. And you know the law of repetition. You keep repeating it until it sticks.
Success is relative, right? Success is relative. And when we talk about relativity, is my success is different from your success. So you've got to be able to define it. One of my mentors says, success is the successful realization of a worthy ideal. What is my life worth? What am I working towards? What does this look like? So I can't define success for you. I can define success for me. Because let's say, for example, there's a woman that's 80 kg and needs to be 70 kg to be at the right BMI. Success is losing that 10 kg.
That's correct.
Right? For another person, success is about the money. Right? I need to be a millionaire this year. Okay, let's break it down to figures. What do you need to earn in a year to be a millionaire? You need to have 7 figures, right? So let's take 1 million. How much do you need to be earning per month to be able to hit that millionaire, right? So that means you need to be eating like 83, let's say 84,000 pounds
A year, per
per
annum.
month
Per month, okay.
to be a millionaire.
Yes, yes.
We're talking millionaire now.
Per month. I know.
So you want to
How
be
do you
eating-
multiply the money to get to that
So what
target?
do you need to do? What does your day need to look like? Because it's one thing to say, I want to be a millionaire, and you think 1 year is going to come
just like that
sometime. But 1 year starts from today. How do I structure my day to day to have a successful week? When I have a successful week, then I can have a successful month. But if I look at my structure for this week and it is not successful according to my definition, like I told you, you have to define it. So you have to define what you are looking at to be able to define what you need to do. And when you define what you need to do, then God brings around the people that need to help you to achieve it. Do you get? And you take action. So this week, I've not taken action. Next week, I need to review to cover up for the lapse of the 1 week that I've not achieved. If not, there's no how I can achieve my yearly goal. So our success is in our daily routine. It's in our daily to-dos.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shehu. Thank you. As is our culture, and as we say, the teas may finish, but the conversation continues. We're going to keep coming back to have this conversation on financial planning because we think it's very crucial. Like you said earlier on, it's a financial revival.
It is.
And we're going to go
we
out
are at
there,
the forefront of it. Let's
if you're not hearing us, we're going to be like this. We just keep talking about it until they get it, right? So we hope that we've encouraged you, we've challenged you, we've inspired you, to take a deep dive into, looking at financial planning.
Yeah.
To take, an inner look. What am I doing in my life? Am I there yet? And if you're not there, please don't feel bad.
Nope. Because today is the
It's never
best
too
time
late.
to do it.
Yes. Any day you wake up is your day. Wake up and do it.
So reach out to us, Emergenzz Financial Services. Yeah, we're
your number is going to be. We're going to put your number out so that
and then the
people can call you
website
for
emergenzz.co.
for free. You said they have free consultation, right?
Yes, it's free consultation. We'll be able to look at what you need to have in place. Yes. I always say to people, we'll work with a budget, but we need to help you to see what your portfolio needs to look like, and we'll help you to build it over time. Right? But it becomes affordable. And if you already have some sort of insurances before, we'll take a look at it. If you can make it better, we will. 99% of the time, we're able to make it better. If we cannot make it better, we always leave it, right? Because we don't want to put you at a disadvantage. You will always be in a better place when you speak to us. So let's talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today again. Thank you, Dr. Shehu.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming, and God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you.